purple penis-shaped glasses, struggles to read the cocktail menu. The group's inability to read the menu is not the result of poor prescription lenses in their phallic frames, but rather the result of 5 rounds of pomegranate margaritas. Charlie knows this because he had been counting the party's drinks as a way to determine when he and Ginny should give up waiting. He knew that round 3 would be all smiles and disingenuous compliments about each other's hair. Then by round 5 or 6, there would surely be some crying, yelling, finger snapping, and spitting in each other's faces. At least that's what he's come to believe by. At least that's what he's come to learn by watching VH1 and MTV. He would much rather prefer to go by the DVD he kept hidden underneath his bed. The DVD he kept hidden inside a decoy case underneath the bed, which led him to believe that the 6th round of margaritas would result in a kind of physical violence that miraculously turns women into bisexuals and clothes into a shredded pile on the floor. So it was decided they would wait another round. Ginny clears her throat. Her husband has been looking over his shoulder, snapping mental pictures of glittery cleavage to recall later while she was sleeping. Can you believe these girls with all their low-cut blouses and Gucci skirts? He begins, his eyes re-meeting his wife's. It's just disgusting. Sure. I feel a little offended at that fact. Bet you do. I do, but that's not important. What is important is Johnny Dallas. Where the hell is he? How should I know? It was a rhetorical question. Ginny hates these types of questions almost as much as she hates questions like, can you bring my Harley sweatpants to the dry cleaners? Or, have you seen my copy of Last of the Mohegans? You know, the one I keep under the bed? The current question at hand, however, though not answerable by his wife, was quite a good one. Where the hell is this supposed king of rock and roll? According to his website, Johnny Dallas was awarded the title of the 2nd best upstate New York Elvis impersonator in the 40 to 60-year-old division. But he certainly wasn't acting like it. Okay, now it skips forward a little bit, and, oh no, I'm sorry, it's a flashback. It's 15 days before the show, it's the day before. Johnny Dallas was performing at the Kon-Tiki Hotel Lounge the night before he was supposed to meet Charlie and Ginny for the interview. He was singing Suspicious Minds when he noticed a police officer climbing the stairs behind the stage. 2 more officers entered the lounge from the front door. Angela, baby, we're caught in a trap. Can't walk out. His girlfriend, sitting in the front row, leaned into the lady next to her. Isn't he so sweet putting my name in the song like that? I'm Angela, that's me he's talking about. Really, Johnny sang, then broke into normal speed. It's a fucking trap. I can't walk out of here. Where? The officer was waiting in the wings, sidled over to the bloated singer. He reached for his cuffs. Dallas stepped back, hesitating to react. The other 2 policemen were closing in. Angela, apparently a secondary concern to the police, crept past them and ran out the front door. Okay, Dallas. You gonna let me cuff you, or do I gotta use force? He thought about it. Definitely force. Dallas hopped off the stage and made a beeline for the door. He pushed people around and kicked over chairs, anything he could do to slow the officers. There were still a few scars around his shoulders, the ones he had planned to seductively wrap around the necks of blue-haired ladies during the second encore of Are You Lonesome Tonight? He stripped off the semi-transparent pastel-colored scarves and began throwing them one by one at the police officers in an attempt to blind them. Johnny Dallas was not a bright man. One of the scarves floated onto a tiki torch by the bar and began to smoke. The geriatric audience, spooked by a potentially fiery death, ran, or rather limped, towards the exits. A man with an eye patch who previously drank alone at the bar suffered some sort of war flashback incited by the faux bamboo decor and sounds of screaming. He grabbed the flaming scarf and began flailing it around, yelling some nonsense about shooting Charlie. In the midst of flying scars and hot, wrinkled chaos, the 3 officers were able to corner and apprehend the slippery old hound dog. Hours later, Johnny Dallas, still wearing the white rhinestone-studded jumpsuit, found himself in a holding cell next to a Filipino Frank Sinatra. He got drunk and pulled out his junk during an extended strangers on the night. And now, skip forward. Things didn't work out with Johnny Dallas, so they're meeting a new potential Elvis impersonator. And it skips forward a little bit. They'd already met. It starts in the middle of the conversation. So, Matthew, how old are you? 12 and a half. Matthew begins, but is interrupted by his father. No, Matthew. Let Daddy answer all the business questions. And answer the question, Charlie. He's 12 and a half. Okay, good. The old ladies are just going to love you. Matthew is struggling to rip the plastic off his new McDonald's toy. His father snatches the toy from him, reminding him that now is not the time to play. It's time for business. He sends him over to wait in the children's play area, but instructs him not to have fun. He can watch the other kids playing, but do not even think of touching a goddamn monkey bar. No client wants to pay for a prepubescent Elvis who can't even do the trademark pelvis thrust because he pulled a muscle diving into the ball pit. It's just not professional. Now, how old are these ladies we're talking about? Because Matthew has a phobia of loose skin. Well, I don't know exactly who's going to be at the event until it happens. I see. So they're going to want to touch his fake chest hair? Because that costs extra. What? No, he'll be on stage. Nobody's going to be touching him. He doesn't mind, really. Well, I mean, as long as it's not the wrinkly old hands touching him. Okay, moving on. Jen, can you hand me that flyer? She rolls her eyes and flattens the flyer on the table. It reads, the North Country Honda Goldwing Club presents the first annual Elvis tribute show to benefit the Ride for Kids Foundation of America, featuring blank. Nice title. Catchy, John responds. Thanks. Anyways, that blank is where your son's name is going to go. Great, but maybe we can bold, underline, and increase the size of Matthew's name? Yeah, sure. I'll have my son Joe get on that. Matthew, still in the play area, is playing a Nintendo DS that he borrowed from another boy. He swings his feet back and forth underneath the bench, and a smile sneaks across his face. Matthew, put that thing away, his father yells from the table. Now let's talk about payment. Skipping ahead 2 more days, the last Elvis impersonator that they're interviewing. He's the last hope to sign someone for this concert. This is 2 days before the show. Charlie goes alone to meet their last hope, a man named Kevin Boyce, whose phone number and address they got from a friend of a friend. Boyce lives in the Holly Tree, one of the many rundown motels in Lake George Village. The sign on the corner which advertised the motel reads its amenities, Able T. Ool. The Holly Tree's permanent residents include all manners of drug addicts and child molesters, and the temporary guests tend to only stay by the hour. It's only suiting for Charlie to find himself here for this last leap of faith interview. Charlie walks upstairs and knocks on door 27. The 7 falls off, clanging beside his feet. Kevin Boyce opens the door with a rubber tube tied around his left bicep. Who are you? Charlie. I need an Elvis impersonator, and holy shit, you look exactly like him. Well, thank you very much. Charlie liked his commitment to the character already. Boyce welcomes Charlie in, brushing some Cheeto crumbs off this tattered couch and offers him a seat. He remembers the rubber tubing and removes it, tossing it onto a pile of unpaid bills on the kitchen table. Boyce has greasy black hair and the kind of terrible skin that can only be caused by drug abuse and a strict fast food diet. And he's bloated as shit. He's going to be perfect. He never even breaks character. It's the middle of the day and his hair is already styled like Elvis, and he speaks using the signature lip curl. Deep fried corn dog? No thanks, I'm on Weight Watchers. Oh, come on, don't make me eat alone. Charlie shakes his head and politely declines. Boyce, in the kitchen now, turns the heat up on the only working burner on the stove. He moves a small pot with hardened vegetable oil onto the hot burner. While he waits for the oil to liquefy, he removes a corn dog from the freezer. Alright, so what's this gig, It's for a good cause. It's a charity event to benefit the Ride for Kids Foundation. You just got to do a few songs, 5 at the most. Boyce dips the corn dog into the bubbling pot. Flecks of hot oil splash up onto his forearm, but he holds the wooden stick still, unfazed. He begins to speak, then his eyes go blank. He returns to himself 30 seconds later. My daughter, Lisa Marie, someone there can watch her, right? Yeah, sure, Charlie says, playing along. He still just can't believe how great this guy is. Sure, he's got a drug problem, but so did Elvis. The popping and crackling in the kitchen stops. Boyce holds the deep-fried corn dog in front of his face, blows on it for approximately 2 seconds, and takes a bite, releasing a puff of steam from between the breading and processed meat. With a mouthful of meat bits and bread batter, Boyce begins singing, "You Ain't Nothing But a Hot Dog." He thinks he's very clever to come up with that one, but all that matters is that even with a mouthful of disgusting food, he still sings like a goddamn angel. Charlie finally found his guy. And things fall through with him as well, and this is the night of the show. The MC is on stage at Sweet Basil. He talks about the inefficiency of public bathroom hand dryers and the quality of airline food. People laugh way too hard. No sober person will laugh so uncontrollably at this poor man's Jerry Seinfeld. Jenny is in the audience, nervously looking around. The main event is about to start. The MC tells a joke about his Jewish mother. Apparently she complains a lot and urges him to marry a nice Jewish girl. Jenny half listens while texting her husband. "Where are you?" she writes. The audience roars with laughter and claps at the MC's closers. An obvious joke about the differences between men and women, and a story about his mother farting at a funeral. The applause fades out as an engine revs outside. People quickly forget about the MC as they look around for the source of the noise. And now, the main event, the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley. The emergency exit doors to the right of the stage swing open. Charlie, donned in a white rhinestone jumpsuit, drives into the showroom on a Harley. Throws a leg over the side of the bike and jumps off, nervously forgetting to stabilize the motorcycle before walking away from it. The bike falls over, rumbling and vibrating, then spins in a half circle on the wooden floor. 2 men in black security t-shirts quickly run over to the bike and shut off the engine. Thank you very much, Charlie says through his headset microphone. The band begins to play Jailhouse Rock, and Charlie ascends the stage. Thank you.